District Library Board to order. And our first order of business is to call the roll, and I call on our secretary, Alma, to do so.
Okay, Priest,
Here.
And
Dawson,
Here.
And location.
oh, right, yeah,
Dallas, Texas.
okay. Dawson,
Here in Belleville.
Stoudemire,
Here, Van Buren Township.
okay. Jariga,
Here in the city of Belleville.
Jehevitz,
Here and in Sumter Township.
okay. Peters,
Here in Van Buren Township.
Hughes Grubbs, Van Buren Township.
Good, thank you. We are all present and accounted for, and we have a couple other folks here with us as well. So that's a very good thing. I have something, before we start up, I have something to point out to my colleagues. The Michigan Public Library Trustee Manual
Yes.
is available. And those of you who picked up your packets, hard copy packets at the library, probably got them. We have a few that haven't been picked up. There were, I think, 5 of them, and there's 7 of us, so we can share. I'm assuming that Linda didn't pick one up, so I for sure will share mine with her. But I wanted to encourage all of you to take advantage of that resource.
And this is also available online, so I can send that link out to you as well.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah. Well,
Yep.
there, you could save some.
I like the
trees.
link.
Okay.
Okay, you can save some trees. Now we'll move back to the agenda, and item 2 is the approval of our agenda, and we will need a motion and roll call vote for that.
Madam Chair, I motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
I second that.
It's moved by Stoudemire and supported by Priest that we approve the agenda. Before we take the vote, I'll take if there's any comments or anything that needs to be changed on the agenda. Hearing none, we will take the vote, which is a roll call vote, and I call on Trustee Hughes Grubbs to call the roll.
okay. Priest, Dawson,
Yes.
Stoudemire,
Yes.
Jariga,
Yes.
Jehevitz,
Oh, you're muted, Joy.
Sorry, Ricky was reading with the kids, but they just got off. Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Hughes Grubbs, yes.
Good, good. The agenda is approved with no dissenting votes. And now we are to item 3 on our agenda, which is approval of the February 9th regular meeting minutes, which have been included in the packet. And this again will require a motion and a roll call vote.
So moved.
Moved by Jariga,
I'll second.
supported by Dawson, that the minutes from February 9th be approved. It's a properly made motion. Is there any discussion or any corrections that anybody saw in the minutes? Seeing none, I will ask Alma to call the roll.
Okay, Priest,
Yes.
Dawson,
Yes.
Stoudemire,
Yes.
Jariga,
Yes.
Jehevitz,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Hughes Grubbs, yes.
Wonderful. The minutes have been approved with no dissenting votes. And now we are at the point of our agenda, item 4, which is public comments. And we do have some members of the public here. So are there any comments that any of you non-board members wish to make? I am not seeing or hearing any. So I'm glad that we have public members here, and I'm glad to see that the press is here to help our community know what's going on in our meeting. But we will proceed with our agenda. Item 5 is our committee reports. And as usual, we will start with the building committee report. Our building committee chair, Joy Chehevitz, was unable to join us last week for the building committee because she has a job. She has a library to run. And she was emergency unable to join us. I do believe that our director, Mary Jo Suchi, took notes and can share with us the notes. Both John and Mary Jane were also, along with me, were at the meeting.
Thank you, Mary Jo.
So if I missed something, please fill in. At the time of the meeting, some of AT&T's lines were swung over to the new poles. Since the meeting, actually everything has been swung over and the poles have been removed. They are gone. So
The
that
poles
is
have been
done.
removed?
Yes,
Huh?
yes.
Yeah.
I was just over there today and I didn't even notice, and I've been worrying about these stupid poles. I didn't even notice it.
It was kind of anticlimactic.
I guess I thought I would be out there doing a dance. Well, I have to come back, but I'll wait for the sun.
So O'Neill Construction, Dean has been working with us on a couple of just little outstanding projects and items. And so we've been working in the way through the list on that. The stack lighting was adjusted so that the lights aren't going off so quickly. He's working on getting the correct caulking to complete the repair work on the tile underneath where the donor signage is. So we've just had a variety of little projects like that. I am working on the final details for the remainder of the indoor donor signage. I'm very close to completion with that. That's a project where you kind of have to have everything together. So it's sort of like an all or nothing in order to submit that. So I'm pretty close. A donor key will be added to the donor wall that outlines the monetary donations for each category. So we did talk about that at the building committee meeting a little bit. Matt is still pursuing some information from the city regarding our escrow with the Hennessy Engineering part of the project. Also trying to obtain our final certificate of occupancy. The representative from B's and the D visited our library and went and looked up on the roof. And it was determined that the actual best location for the hives on the roof is on the south side of the equipment screen, further away from the into the equipment area. So we're going to install some more walking pads on that location. Dovetails into some other work that we're going to be doing up there related to some of the changes we're going to make to the HVAC system. We're looking at a couple of changes, a lot of them related to COVID, but also just good moving forward, good air quality. So one of them is the humidification system, adding that back in. That's going to require 3 units up on the roof. And so once those are placed, we'll have to work on some of those walking pads anyway. We might have to add a few more on top of that. So the mechanical engineers have been working through how to where to place those units up on the roof. In addition to that part of the project, we're continuing to look at the bipolar ionization, increasing to MERV 14 filters, and adding the circulating fan in the boiler room that will help draw some of the heat out of that room and into other parts of the library. So there's about three or four different parts of this project. They're estimating it's going to be about $125,000 to complete all of that. We talked about the recommendations that Michelle Montour made to the art committee regarding the walker system, the railing system for the hanging art. They have come up with some sizes and lengths of rods and how that's all going to work. So we relayed that information to Dan as far as ordering that system. Hillary and I have been working with Dan on the locked display case that we're going to have on the first floor. And I think we have a pretty good solution worked out where we're going to have a display case that can lock, but surrounded by that will be glass shelving that will kind of match with the case that will be open so that the library can do displays as well.
Good.
And something where we can have displays of books that are in conjunction with whatever is in the, the locked cases. That's about it.
Good job.
Yeah.
We had a good meeting. We did miss you, Joy, especially with the bees and the HVAC system, the ionization system. So all that discussion on the roof, and they had we looked at a diagram and everything, and I kept thinking of you.
Well, I'm sorry I couldn't be there.
We missed you, but we
Yeah.
know that happens sometime. And I think it was really productive. Now that we only have one building committee meeting a month, it's a big, well, that's a step forward for us. It shows how well we're doing. So Mary Jane and John, did you have something to add?
Yeah, there's one more thing. The Dean has moved out of the museum, which I'm on the board for the museum also, but it's still a lot of his materials are still in there. And they've got to, and Matt said they would send someone over and help clean that out. So, because they're not paying, we're not paying the Van Buren Township anymore for the use of that building. So that's got to be taken care of.
Okay.
I don't have anything.
Okay. I don't either. I don't have anything beyond what Mary Jo reported. So I thank you. It was a very good building committee report, and we'll run through many of these committee designations. We'll be running through fairly quickly. John, is there a bylaws committee report?
I have nothing.
Okay, no report. On finance committee, Tanya, is there anything, or Mary Jo?
No report.
Oh, well, good. Our finances are in good shape, and it's a good thing we don't have anything to talk about on that. We do have a marketing committee report, and I call on Alma. And there is an item in your packet that goes along with this report.
Okay. And I'm going to kind of defer to Michelle a little bit because I'm sure she probably has some other things she needs to do this evening.
No,
but we-
I also have to talk on the art committee, so I'm here for a while.
Okay. Oh, I didn't see that she had you on program. Yeah, well, we met last week and it was a very good meeting. We were presented with some options as far as the logos for the, for the library. And Michelle will talk about that further. But as far as any activities or anything like that, most of that is still on hold depending on when the library opens and to full capacity.
Well, added to that, there were 3 options that the committee talked about on the logos, and there was one that the committee chose, and it is
Well-
in your packet.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mary Jo, can you put that up?
Yes.
Yeah, Mary Jo
Thank
might
you.
put it up because this was the main item that was discussed in that particular marketing committee, and it's going to be useful for us. There it is.
Okay.
So, okay, so just so that the rest of you understand that Mary Jo and Hillary and I had gone through at least 4 passes before we came up with the 3 finalists, put it that way. And this was the one that the marketing committee chose of the last 3. And the reason being is that the spiral is reflective of the spiral that you can view from the top of the staircase, which is at the bottom of the tile, which is reflective of a wave, but it's also reflective of a primal icon of returning back for knowledge, to regroup, to come back to the library. And
Wow.
also the square behind it is reflective. My inspiration was that there are 4 squares. If you look at the building, there are 4 russet orange squares embedded in the deep purplish bricks. So I took one of the squares, and that's what's behind the spiral. So this was embodying the building, you know, and then the verbiage is in the same typeface as we use on the building, which is Optima, which goes back to the 50s. It's Herman Zaff, by the way, if anybody wants to know. And what's great about it, it's a little eclectic because it's between a serif and a sans serif, and it's a wonderful typeface. But anyway, and also there's more colors. So what we were working towards was to make it a little more vibrant, as what we all feel as our new library is a little more vibrant. And so that's where there's more than one color. So the proposed new logo is a full color, pretty much, logo, which our next step would be to understand how it would be reproduced, because there's so many ways to do that right now. And I would hope that we could just do it digitally. And I think that right now, what I'm seeing on my screen, it looks really vibrant, and I'm really happy about that. I'm really happy about that blue. And I'm hoping that will go. So there's blues, there's purples, there's a red purple, and there's a blue purple. So, and this is what the marketing committee determined. They felt this was the best representation of the new library. And that's what we're proposing to the board right now.
And while we're still on the marketing committee, I would like to invite full board discussion about this new logo proposal. And I think it's appropriate that we will actually adopt, formally adopt it after we have discussion and all of that. And I also want to say that it's very, it's fortuitous, it's great timing, because when we move forward with this, the next big thing for the marketing committee will be to decide to start making decisions about activities that we'll be doing, especially our grand opening, which we don't know if that will be yet in 2021 or if it will have to be in 2022. But being able to really showcase and highlight our new logo at the time that we have that event will be really wonderful for us. We will be using this logo in all our promotions and all our marketing, but it's a very good time for us to decide this before we get into planning for our biggest public event.
Madam Chair, do
Yes,
we need a motion on this?
yeah, we would entertain a motion and a second and discussion.
Madam Chair, I make a motion, we accept this logo proposal for the Belleville Area District Library.
Great. There's a motion by Jariga,
I'll second.
support by Chehevitz. And now we are, if there's any more discussion, I had one more, well, go ahead. I'll make mine at the end of anybody else's.
Madam Chair, I appreciate Michelle explaining her creative process and how she came to this. It really makes it more meaningful when I'm voting.
This is cool. I've not heard the word serif or sans serif since college.
Well, I'm gonna share with you, John. A serif has little feet at the bottom, and a sans serif has no feet
Okay,
at the bottom.
Mm.
Okay,
Wow.
But this is an eclectic, you know, Herman Zapp is a well-known, you know, type designer. And I can't remember when he designed, I think it was in the 50s he designed it. But it's one of his well-known, you know, typefaces. So
I like it. I like it a lot.
good.
Mhm.
It's chiseled, you know, it's a little chiseled, you know, it's almost like a, oh, what am I thinking? You know, it's almost chiseled like old school, but he brought it into the future. And it's, you know, I personally, I'm so happy that Dan and I talked about it and, you know, one for the signage. And I was like, yeah, I think that's perfect because it's longevity. Longevity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I really like it. And it's got some weight to it. It's not too light. It's not too heavy.
Yeah.
And this is actually the Roman version of it. It's not the bold, it's Roman. So it's like the lighter of the two, and it still holds substance. Even in a smaller size, it holds substance. So I think it has great longevity for us.
Good.
I'm happy with it.
Mhm.
Other comments? I
I
have
like
one.
the,
I
I
have
like the spiral. I like the spiral.
Mhm.
It mimics,
Mary
it
Jo.
mimics the stairs, the circular stair.
Mhm,
Mhm.
Out of spiraling up to gain more knowledge that you're.
right.
Mhm.
That's what I wanted to comment on too. First of all, I wanted to say I was glad that I was able to attend the marketing committee meeting because I really enjoyed looking at the various ideas that Michelle presented, and I liked them all, but the spiral I really think is really special because it does reflect our building, though, that spiral staircase. I will tell you that
Mhm.
since that meeting, when I was in the building, I stood at the top of the stairs and looked down and thought
Right.
about that spiral. But it also
Good.
does denote motion, and it denotes the kind of movement that we envisioned.
Right.
And I think I'll always have a warm place in my heart about that spiral staircase. I don't think we really realized it at the time, but that spiral staircase was the first and only spiral staircase that Dean, our superintendent, our construction superintendent, ever undertook. And
Right.
I remember in one of our earlier building committee meetings, we were meeting in person, and I was sitting next to Dean in the corner, and we were talking there. As anybody on the bill, as all of you will remember, there was a lot of issues. It was very complicated to get that spiral staircase done and done correctly. And Dean did a beautiful job, and he really worked hard with all the vendors to make sure it was right. But at this early point in the time, he was just kind of shaking his head and grumbling. And he said, that spiral staircase will be the death of us.
Oh,
And
it's amazing.
Mhm.
No, it's amazing. It's one
It
of the
makes-
focal points, I think, of the library.
it's
Yeah.
I really do.
neat. It really sets our library apart from others.
I-
And I think it is
Mhm.
one design statement that really, does reflect our building. So I'm so happy you came up with this, Michelle.
Oh, thank
Mhm.
you so much. Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
so happy you guys are. I'm gonna get tears. I'm gonna get teary-eyed here. I'm really happy you guys are responsive to it.
I like it.
Well,
Good.
we have a motion, a properly made motion and a second on the floor. So we now do need to go to a roll call vote before we finalize this issue. And for that, I call on our committee chair, who is also our secretary, Alma Hughes Grubbs.
Okay, can we switch back to the other screen?
Sure. There you go.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I just didn't want to get these names out of order. Priest,
Yes.
Dawson,
Absolutely.
Stoudemire,
Yes.
Jeriga,
Yes.
Joy,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes,
Hughes Grubbs, yes.
unanimous. That's it's a symbolic step, but it is really a step forward and kind of, we're in a new era.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. That was very fun.
Yes.
Now we go to the Personnel Committee. Linda, is there any report?
No report at this time.
Great. And the Policy Committee, Mary Jane?
I have nothing to report.
We're moving right along, and now we're gonna work our other public participant in this board. Michelle, you're coming and carrying the board meeting, but the art.
Yeah, you got me back.
Yep. The art
Okay,
committee,
so I'm reporting
it's
on
been,
behalf of the art committee, and I just. Right. So first of all, I want to say that most of our members have chosen to do a second term, which is great. With the exception of Doug Peters, but he will stay on as a consultant. And the board needs to appoint another artist, a voting artist, to be part of the committee. And Barbara Miller has stepped away and replaced herself with Cheryl Wagner, just so that you know that. And then we will have to regroup in 2022 for a couple of positions because they were 2-year terms versus 3. So it's all good, actually. Secondarily, as I think was reported earlier, the art committee had proposed or had recommended what we would like for the Walker hanging system. Doug and I did some measurements, and we gave a report to the art committee, which was passed on to Mary Jo to talk with Dan about. And I'm thinking it's all good. You guys would have to decide if it's going to happen or not. I don't know. Do you need to discuss that right now, or I don't know, Mary Jo?
I think that just kind of falls under the building committee. I think they're okay with it, so I don't think.
Okay, so we don't have to talk about that.
Yeah.
So that's taken care of, which is great. The next on for what I have to report is Howard Puchowski had wanted to donate some, he's a friend of somebody of Sharon's who is a
Right,
church friend of hers. He
and
does the wooden sculptures, okay?
he's a friend of,
And then,
he's a friend of Pat and Gary Marshall, and I believe they're
right,
members of the Friends. At least I know Gary is. So
okay,
they're the ones that referred him to
okay.
to me, and then Michelle took it over.
Right. So I talked to him, and he's willing to donate everything that we would want, or the library would want. And the art committee talked about it, and Mary Jo discussed it with her staff, and they felt that some of the sculptures would be, helpful in programs or whatever. And I think she has some images to show you. I spoke with him today, and he's willing to donate anything that the library would like, anything. And I worked up a donation release form, which Doug is reviewing for me. And Howard is willing to do whatever we want, basically, like anything, any of the sculptures that the library would like to have, that he's willing to give them. And this is a cardinal. He has an eagle. He has, Mary Jo, did you get that last one that had like a bunch of them? Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I
that's
don't-
the eagle.
Yeah, I don't have that other. in the
Okay.
Up.
But he has fish. He has, I did send it to you. I don't know if it's worth me sending it again right now, but he's got fish. He's got, what else does he have? He's got ducks, which I would not recommend, but, what else does he have? He's got a bear, which I'm like, well, I don't know about that, So he does have a collection And I don't know how the library wants to deal with this. It's like, he said they're all in the box. He told me today, they're all in a box. I don't want to have to pull them out again. You can take whatever you want. I said, I understand, but let the board decide. Like, this is my suggestion. My suggestion would say is decide you will take 3 to 5 sculptures from him as a donation. And he has to sign off on them. They're not his anymore. He has to understand that. He says he's fine with that. And then I can go pick them up, and deposit them at the library. And the library can do whatever they want with them. So I don't know. I'm not sure how else to handle this, because I'm not sure how else on it,
I have a
Should I-
question.
Sure.
Where would they be placed?
There it is.
Joy, I talked with the children's librarians specifically, so we're
Uh-huh.
putting them in the kids' room.
Okay.
Right.
We're getting kind of
Right.
excited about doing like displays that go along with it. Once
Mhm.
we're in programming again, they can incorporate some of these items into some of their story times and things like that.
We
And
have to
understand
have the
that they're-
fish.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the fish
But
would be-
understand that the release form states that, and the one that I came up with that Doug is reviewing, it says the library has the right to do whatever they want, on display, off display, sell them, can donate them as awards, can do whatever, and he has no rights to them anymore. And he said, yes. He was fine with it. And that's the way I think it should be worded, because if you want to donate something like this, and they are signed, John, you were asking, he has them signed as Pooch, by the way. That's how he signs them. Pooch. It's like he just wants them to move forward. So, it'd be up to you guys to decide how many you want and how we get them to you. I can help you with that. I have no problem with that.
I like the fish.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the fish, but I mean, it just seems like it's a no.
Well, there's 2 fish. There's it looks like a trout in the back, or like a salmon.
Yeah.
And then there's another one in the front, looks more like a bass.
Oh, there they are. Okay. I'm sorry. You guys
what-
were covering them.
Yeah.
What's the item in the middle? Behind the duck? Between the duck and the fish?
Oh, I don't know.
I think
It looks
that's
kinda like-
part of the fish, like seaweed or something,
Oh,
Maybe.
maybe.
I don't know. I'd have to see it.
You're talking about the white colored statue?
No. There's a little thing right here. Which we
Oh.
don't know.
Okay.
It looks like a plant.
That looks like
Plant.
eucalyptus. I thought you were talking about
Yeah.
that wood part next to
I
the,
was actually talking about that wood part.
yeah.
Do you have the pointer, Mary Jo? That, no, go up,
No,
go up.
Right.
over, Up, over,
To the right.
Right there.
that
Yeah.
thing, that little, yeah, that
I
thing
don't know.
got it on there. What is
I don't
that?
know. I don't know.
Part of the fish display.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that they're useful.
he doesn't, he
Well, I
only has
also
2
wanna-
fish.
Well, I also want to tell you, I don't think he'd be opposed to being commissioned to make, he said, I'm 72 years old. I've been living here for 50 years. I've, lived here all my life. He lives in Haggerty Sub. And he also said, I think it's growing too fast. And I said, have you been to the new library? And he said, no. And I said, well, you need to go to see the new library, because you'll be so happy with it. It's amazing. It's just a beautiful building. He goes, I'm going to go. But he said he had just gotten vaccinated and he's waiting for his wife. And I'm like, okay. But he's like, I think if we actually said, hey, can you do like a loon, like MJ said like a while ago, want to do a loon? I'm sure he would do it. I don't know if we want to do that or not. I'm just throwing it out there. But yeah, but this is what he has right now. And I think anything we feel that would be advantageous to our library programs, I think that'd be nice. I think it would be great.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I said, like I said, Doug is coming. I wrote up a donation release form. Doug is reviewing it, and then he's gonna run it by Barbara Miller, which kind of brings me to the next image.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. What do you want? Do you want to vote on it, or what do you want to do about
Well,
that?
I don't know. I think we can accept your report, and I don't know that we need to
Okay,
vote on anything now, and especially
okay,
if things are going to be written up as the official transaction document for these, then
okay,
I think that the vote would be appropriate then.
okay, okay.
So
Just
we,
so I can let him know, he's very, he's very, I don't know what the right word, I don't want to say needy, but he's,
Anxious.
it's like he's like, are you gonna take them? Do you want them?
oh, tell them we really
Like,
appreciate it.
and I said, no, we're gonna,
Be sure to
yes.
tell them
And
we
I did
really-
tell him, I just told him that, yeah,
We
right.
really like
So I
that.
can just call him back and say we're good. Sorry,
Yeah.
Sharon.
I would like, the one thing I'd like to say, I want to make sure that Mary Jo and the staff are comfortable with any decision we make. They would have to be the ones where storage
Yeah.
is the question and use is a question. So rather than us as a board voting on it now, I really want to accept your report and the committee's report and look forward to both the document and the final decision of the staff about how many that.
And
we-
also understand that the committee had, when I spoke with him as the committee chair, I told him that that would be part of the decision, that it wasn't just, oh, these are great. It had to do with the staff and storage
Mhm.
and maintenance, and these things all had to be considered before we accept anything, So we're on the same page.
Good.
Yeah, we're
Right.
on the same page
Jane?
completely.
Okay, I know all of you have done Zoom meetings, but it's really difficult to follow conversations if people are talking over each other because it cuts out one person. And so unless you're the chair, if you could raise your hand or you're giving a report, I think that would make it easier for me. I don't know about anybody else, but
Okay,
I probably am guilty of talking while the committee was talking. But I think now, Michelle, we might want to move on to the other item that the art committee discussed.
okay, so now I'm speaking.
Right.
The last thing that I need to share with you is that Sheena Barnes has a painting that is Jackson Pollock-like, which is, I think, 4 by 8 feet, which she's willing to loan us for up to 5 years, which would fit perfectly across from the Etchinson sign and the atrium. And the art committee talked about it at some length, not like, there was some discussion, but overall we felt that it would be a good addition as a complement to the colors that we have going on. And even if you're not a Pollock fan, it wouldn't be detrimental to the entire environment. It would create discussion. And Doug is willing to help. He's willing to do the verbiage for that also for a loan, because Sheena is willing. She's also from Sumter, by the way. So that contributes to the tri-community area, but she's willing to loan it to us for up to 5 years. It's valued at $60,000. And she would take the risk financially if anything happened to it. But I think it would be a compliment to the atrium and the colorfulness in that particular area. I don't know if Mary Jo can put that up or not.
That's what I was gonna ask for.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's in the style of Jackson Pollock. And it does have some of the colors that we have incorporated in our library. And I think it would be up to the board to decide how long they would want that. It's a canvas painting. It's wrapped canvas. It's about 40 pounds according to Doug. And it would be hung on hooks, which he uses with his artwork.
Would that be
Good.
hung vertically or horizontally?
Horizontal, like you see.
Okay.
As you see. And because of the size, and if you guys remember that area, it would kind of sit nicely with a white frame around it. You know what I mean? Because I think the width of that rectangle across from entrances is like 12 feet. And this is 8 feet. So there'd be like probably a 2 feet frame around it with, it's almost like a frame around it.
The white wall, right.
A white wall, right? Yeah. Which I think, it's colorful. It's nondescript really. And I think it complements the colors in the upstairs. I think that my screen is showing colors a little too vibrant, but I think overall it's festive. I don't think there's any, I don't see as controversial, as something that for the public to see. And that if there was something close by that we described it as Pollock in the style of Pollock, not as a Pollock original, of course, but as in the style of, that might create some curiosity to some of our patrons to investigate who he was. So, but that's a consideration for us.
One of the things that I liked about it, I like the paint for what we're talking about it for. I like that painting. I think it would light that area and add some interest. But I'm pleased. I know Sheena Barnes, and I'm really thankful for her generosity and her willingness. And I think that this is engagement of the community in our building, and it is the community's building. And having members of the community participate in how it is decorated is really important. So I'm pleased about this. Any other comments? Joy?
I know Sheena too. I think that would be a really nice piece to set off that area.
Good. I don't know if we need any formal action on this item. I don't know that we have a sergeant at arms here, but I always look at Mary Jo as my, she's gonna make me do things right.
Well, if you're not approving a contract, I think maybe just a general consensus to move forward.
Right.
With
But
both.
all I'm bringing to the board is, this is a suggestion from the art committee that we take advantage of this offer to have this artwork in the library. That's all the art committee is doing. And then the board will decide what you guys want to do.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And among the board, we can continue discussion. So far, I have heard consensus for this. And we will move forward with that unless anybody has, if anybody has any other comment for or against, this is the time.
I think it would be a lovely addition.
Good, it seems that we do have consensus for this, and thank you very much. I want to thank the art committee, and I do see that Barbara Miller has joined us, and she has been active on the art committee throughout this. So I'm glad to see Barbara. Hopefully you can hear us, Barbara, and I am glad to see you here. And I am glad for the work the art committee has done. I attended that last meeting and mentioned to that art committee how enjoyable the art committee is. It's a fun.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I think unless any of you have any other comments, that concludes the art committee report. Good. Okay, I don't see any.
Oh, good.
Good. Thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you for allowing me to participate in the meeting, and I'm gonna say bye-bye.
Well,
I'm watching The
enjoyed it.
Voice tonight.
Thanks a lot.
Ah,
Bye.
All right.
thank you for coming.
Bye. Oh, thank you very much for letting me participate.
Hi, Michelle.
Wonderful. Thanks, Michelle. The next item on our agenda is the approval of accounts payable. And the listing of accounts payable is in your packet, as is the pay app for your information having to do with the construction. But the accounts payable is a item that we have to act upon. And so that is before us at this moment.
I motion that we approve the accounts payable as presented.
I second that.
It's been moved by Stoudemire and supported by Priest that
Correct.
the accounts payable be approved. Are there any questions? Mary Jane?
Comment.
My question is about the Otis Elevator Company. It says repair. Did it break already, or is that just some type of maintenance?
That was one of my questions too.
Mine too.
It was nothing serious, even though that price makes it look like it was serious. It had to do with some communication failures that we had been having, especially every time if there's ever a power interruption or power outage, it would create this communication error. So they had to come out and replace some equipment.
Okay, thank you.
But nobody was stuck in an elevator at any time.
Well, that's good.
I was surprised to see two different bills for the same month for DTE, but Mary Jo explained to me that that's the way they're doing it.
Yeah, let me talk about that really briefly. We get two bills from DTE, and one of them is for the gas at the main library. And for whatever reason, they just won't join all of our bills together into one bill. The other bill, and I apologize, it says gas electric Sumter. That is true, but in addition to that is the electric for the main library. So the first bill of $2,278 is main library electric, everything for the branch. And then further down, we have a gas bill for the main library.
Those are good
Overall, it's hard to
questions.
get a good beat on this yet, but overall, our energy costs are a lot lower than I thought they would be.
Good.
Yeah.
The energy efficiency of this building was a big consideration for the building committee. So already your work, Joy and John and Mary Jane, your work is already bearing fruit. Are there other items? We have a motion and a support. Are there other questions? Seeing none, I call for the roll call vote. Alma,
Priest,
Yes.
Dawson,
Yes.
Jariga,
Yes.
Stottlemyre,
Yes.
Jehevitz,
You're muted again.
Yes.
Good.
Peters,
Yes.
Hughes Grubbs, yes.
Good, very good. And I also, as mentioned, the request for payment, the payment for the construction is in here for your information. The building committee has already taken care of that, and we are getting through the list, and we are not having as many or as big bills on that. And with that, I think our items that we have to act upon are completed, and now we have some reports. And first of our reports is our director report.
Thank you. Our employee who had tested positive for COVID has recovered and is back on the job. All of our employees who shared desk shifts with this employee all tested negative. So masks and social distancing do work. We are a testament to that. After a lengthy and exhaustive process to find Michelle Locke's replacement, we weren't really coming up with good results. And so we kind of went back to the drawing board and revamped things a little bit. Instead of having it be a department head position, we went back, we still have it on the books. We have a circulation supervisor on our books. And we decided to search in-house for that position. And we offered and she accepted the job to Lindsay Lohr. And Lindsay comes to us with a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of energy. She has a really good grasp of big picture issues. So I'm very excited about working with her. Her bachelor's degree at U of M is in organizational studies and communications. And she kind of focuses on, her area of focus was actually on nonprofit organizations. And when she was completing her major. So I think it's going to be a really good fit. I want to personally thank Barbara Miller and Doug Peters for their service on the art committee. I feel like they really set us on a good path. And so I'm really, really grateful for that. So I just want to make a of telling you that. I also have attached a little report from the Adult Services Department. I'm hoping with each department to kind of give them a little chance at the board meeting to kind of, talk about what's going on with their librarians and their programming. And Amy, I don't know if you can hear me right now. If you want to unmute.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. If you wanted to say anything about how things are going, you guys look like you've got a lot of programs that are coming up.
Yeah. We've been kind of reinventing programming for the past year, trying to experimenting with what works, trying to find ways to engage with the community without them all together in one big room. And I think we've had a lot of successes. One of our best virtual programs has been an organizing program hosted by Kelly. This is one, her name was Kate Sood, and she is certified by Marie Kondo herself in the KonMari method of organizing. And out of that, since there was such a great response, Kelly's developed a pop-up book group that's going to meet once to discuss the life-changing magic of tidying up. Teresa Spiteri-Zidell has developed a cookbook book group that has taken off despite not being able to get together and sample the recipes as was originally envisioned. They meet over Zoom. I think she's had 20 some people so far sign up. All the books that she requests for the group get checked out regularly. She's got a fairly decent amount of traffic to her Zoom meetings and to the message board she created for that. For National Library Week, Crystal Corcoran has developed a virtual escape room. We had one before in September, and even though not a lot of people finished it, we got a really good response from the people who did. She made some really clever clues, Belleville themed, that involved different areas around the city. There was even a jigsaw puzzle that you had to put together for a library receipt. So we've requested that she make another one of those for National Library Week, and it's going to be focused on the library and the staff. Let's see. Everything that we've got coming up in the last couple of months is in that report. We've got a lot planned for the summer. We're participating in the collaborative summer library programs, summer reading. The theme this year is Tales and Tales. Tale is in a dog tale and tale is in a story. So it's themed with animals, and we found a lot of really good programming to go with that. Kelly Skinner found, she's invited Bees in the D, a Detroit group that educates about bees, is going to be giving a virtual presentation. I forget which one she picked, but we thought that would be nice with our bees coming at some point. Teresa's arranged a pet first aid virtual meeting. Let's see. I am going to be doing a virtual grown-up story time where I'm going to do some readings, nonfiction readings about animals, and I've put together a book page animal craft kit that I'm going to send home with everybody. Yeah, we've got a lot of fun things coming up for the summer.
Can you talk to us a little bit? We have some exciting news, and since Rosemary is here, if she wants to chime in too, that would be great. The Adult Services Department applied for a grant to get the Belleville Area Independent digitized. We have it on microfilm right now, but we want to make it digitized so it's a little bit more easily accessible. So if you have anything you want to share with us on that.
Yeah, the grant is through the Clark Historical Library, which is part of Central Michigan University. They've got a lovely collection there right now of local Michigan newspapers. I started reading one from, I think it was 1880. And the whole front page was this giant opinion piece about whether or not they should deliver mail on Sundays. It was great. I really enjoyed it. But anyway, myself and Teresa, who is responsible for our local history room for the newspaper microfilms kept, we put together an application and our community was selected as one of the finalists. So the way for us to eventually win the grant is to have the community vote. There's two different ways to do it. They sort of emphasize their Twitter voting. We'll do our best to mobilize our community onto Twitter, but I think where we're really going to shine is they also allow voting by Michigan picture postcard. So the Twitter voting happens, let's see, the week of March 22nd through the 28th. And postcard voting, they have to be postmarked the week before that. So we've given the dates to Rosemary. I think she'll be publishing those, and we'll have information in the lobby. And hopefully
We're going to be manufacturing some postcards too. So if people want to come to the library, they can pick up a postcard.
Yeah, we checked the rules. It should be okay.
To support our local paper and getting it digitized. This will give people access all around the world. They'll be able to search for it, so they can search for specific names or specific topics. So it's a really great thing if we can get this to go. So
Great.
we need the support of the community.
Good.
Thank you, Amy.
MJ?
Great work, Amy.
Thank you.
More than once. I mean, can you vote more than once?
I don't believe so. There was something in the rules about they will use their discretion about multiple votes. The good news is that the postcard votes count as 5 votes.
Wow.
The 1 vote for Twitter. So that's why I think we're in with a chance.
Yeah.
That will be next week. Is that next week that
It's coming up, yeah.
Next week.
We got to make that happen.
Yeah.
We'll have it in this week's.
It'll be in the paper this
Good.
week, right?
Good.
Okay.
Postcard voting next week. It's coming up.
Yep.
So that's
Quick.
That's another reason for board members to stop in the library over the next week and encourage the public to, and maybe take a few, can we take a few postcards and pass them out?
Oh, I
Sure.
think so.
Okay, good.
Okay.
That sounds really good. Are there other comments? Did you have something else, Mary Jane?
No.
Okay,
I just want to thank everybody. That's so exciting.
Mhm.
good.
We'll have Mary Jo's letter in this week's paper explaining.
Great.
What issues of the paper will be digitized?
All of the
All of the
independent.
issues that we have microfilmed. So
Oh,
I think we have microfilmed through 2019.
Starting when?
Hmm?
When were they started?
94, I believe,
1995, January.
95.
Okay.
Good. That'll be a lot of community history. That's wonderful. John?
I have a question for Mary Jo. Michelle's last day's March 15th.
Mhm.
We're obviously invited.
Please feel free to stop in on March 15th and say goodbye to her. She doesn't really want a big to-do, so we'll be doing some real small things for her.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Is there a set time?
No, she works until 5:30.
She's gonna work, okay.
And I
It's
think,
gonna be a sad day.
yeah, I would say that anytime in the next week, I don't know, Monday might not be a good day for everybody, but I had a chance to have a chat with her today. I think everybody will want to, if you can, be able to express in person your appreciation for the contribution. Us getting through the new library and the move and all of that, I don't know what we would have done without Michelle.
Mhm.
Back to the director's report, I was wondering if Mary Jo and Joy could talk a little more. This is a very interesting article about Libby. And I'm always learning this stuff. You guys talk about it. I don't even know what you're talking about. So this Libby application, I just wondered if either one of you had any comments beyond what's in this article or any perception.
Libby is the app for Overdrive, which is our ebook collection. And basically, ever since the advent of library ebooks, there's always been a tension between libraries and publishers regarding how the product works for libraries, how publishers get paid. And with the huge upsurge that we saw with the COVID lockdowns, a lot of people started reading ebooks, and so it did create a little bit of difficulty sometimes with publishers where they really want to charge a lot more than we think they should be charging, or they want to put limits on things. And so it's just always a chore to come to some kind of agreement with them.
Yeah.
And it's just this is the world we live in right now. And there are different models. I mean, the traditional model is we basically physically buy a copy of the ebook, and one patron can check it out. And once that book is checked out, everybody else has to wait for it, just like you would with a physical book. There are other models where you can say, okay, you can have as many as 50 checkouts of this item. When you're done with your 50, you're done. Certain items you might like, I want to, for lack of a better word, say rent for a specific period of time, and maybe you can have unlimited usage depending on how much you're willing to pay. So there's a lot of different models out there, and no one publisher is alike in how they want to work with us. Our company Overdrive does a lot of work with the publishers to try to kind of hammer all of this out.
I'll add that unlike Hoopla, which the books that are included in Hoopla are all decided by Hoopla. The books included in Libby are decided by the librarian. So there tends to be more bestseller content in there and things that we don't see in Hoopla as often.
Right.
Well, I always learn from you guys, and I really do appreciate it because my understanding of Hoopla was nil. And until I picked up this article, I didn't know anything about Libby either. So
Yeah.
I need the two of you to teach me all these new frontiers of libraries.
Sure. And the latest, we do a lot of e-magazines as well. And we've always done our e-magazines through a different company. That company got bought out through Overdrive/Libby. And so in many ways, I think this will make it a lot easier for our patrons to use. They go to one source instead of two different
Good.
apps. So.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions on the director's report? Seeing none, thank you very much, Mary Jo. And now it's time for trustee comments. And I'm gonna do like Alma does on her screen. I'm gonna look at how you all are organized on my screen. So first I'm starting with the furthest away, Linda Priest.
Well, we're coming back this weekend and I'm looking forward to coming in on, we'll be back probably Sunday. I'd like to come in on Monday and tell Michelle how much I'm going to miss her and how much I appreciated all her help. She was just a great asset.
Did you get your second shot?
Thursday. And then we're leaving on Friday, so.
Good. John?
Yes, we're gonna miss Michelle a great deal. She's an amazing person. And I also talked to a worker that's working on 4th Street today. They're thinking they can get it finished this week with all the concrete and stuff. Okay.
Great.
It's good if they can open up 4th Street. That's all I have to say.
Great. Tanya?
So I also want to wish Michelle well and congratulate Lindsay Lohr on her new position. So I've known Lindsay for a long time and, she's a Belleville High School grad and, very smart. So we're very, very lucky to have her.
Joy?
I want to thank the art committee for all the work that they've put in. I think we are heading in a nice direction. And I also want to, I want to commend Mary Jo for finding a homegrown solution for needing to replace Michelle. She's irreplaceable. But Lindsay will fit her shoes in a different way. And I think it's nice to have somebody who's grown up here and grown up in the library, really. Yeah.
Great.
And I get my shot on Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Great.
My first one.
Oh, wow.
Alma?
Well, I get my shot on Friday, my second shot. So I'm
Yay.
a little nervous, but I'm gonna do it. Yeah. But also I wanted to say special thanks to Michelle because she's been extremely helpful. And I remember when I first moved to the area, she was just phenomenal, always willing to help and kind of guide you around the library. So I appreciate that. And also with Michelle for taking the time to come up with the logos and taking time out of her schedule to join us in the meeting this evening. I really appreciate that. And also to Tanya, I just wanted to say thank you, congratulations to you again. Very proud of you. You're doing an outstanding job and who knows, you may just stay forever. I know that won't happen, but congratulations to you. I'm very proud and very happy for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you all.
Thank you. Mary Jane.
So many people need to be congratulated and bid farewell. I'm going to miss Michelle. Just like the rest of you, she's been a source when I needed to find something. She always would put a packet of stuff together for me if I was doing something for the chamber, so I could highlight the goings on at the library. So I'm going to miss her, but retirement's great. Lindsay, I met her, I think when she was a freshman in high school. And I was very intrigued with her. She was just a delightful person to work with anytime I was at the library. And then there's Michelle Montour, who none of you probably knew this, but she and I went to the same high school.
Really?
I think about 20, 25, 30 years apart, but we both went to the same high school. Yeah, she's delightful, and she's a great asset to the art committee. I'll be glad to see Linda and Randy back in town. I'm
Thank
thinking
you.
if they don't come back soon, I'm gonna rent out their house. And I get my second shot on St. Patrick's Day, dressed in green for sure.
Oh.
Great. Great. That was all great news. I think our only member, I'm going to bend the rules a little. Barbara Miller joined us after public comment, and I just want to ask you, Barbara, did you have any brief comment you wanted to make before I do my report?
How kind of you to do that for me. I appreciate it. I wanted to tell the board that I got a beautiful thank you note from Mary Jo for my service on the art committee. It was absolutely charming. And I'm very appreciative. I must have shown it to 50 people. Very nice. And,
Wow.
and just shows your thoughtfulness and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for attending our meeting.
Well, I would have
now it is time for,
but I had trouble logging in. The link didn't work. So then but I was faithful and I kept at it and finally happened.
well, there you go. Persistence pays. We're glad you were with us. Now it's time for the chair's report, and I have just a couple of things. One is to reflect what others have said. The art committee is our one additional committee from our committees that are set by the bylaws. And we had an interesting development of it, and the policy, Mary Jane worked really hard to get the policy together for it. It has really paid off for us. It's paid off to have an art committee. It also pays off that this is an artistic community. And that is really lovely. And it is the kind of thing to reflect in our library. So although Michelle Montour signed off already, we'll all thank her. And I thank Barbara as well for her support, and Doug Peters, who shares my last name, and he won't get rid of me because I know how to call him up on the phone. So it's been a tremendous help, and I think that committee will be a tremendous support for us over the years. And then the other is the transition that many have reflected with Michelle leaving, and Lindsay coming in. That idea that Lindsay has grown up in our library is just lovely. So we have much to celebrate still, and I get my second COVID dose next Thursday. My husband gets one tomorrow, and with more and more of us being vaccinated, it is a good feeling. And I again thank and I'm thankful for Mary Jo leading us through this COVID situation. I think our library has responded the best of any library I've seen. I know a whole lot of libraries that just have not been open for an entire year. And there is so much service to the community that a library gives. So I'm happy to be working with this library. I'm happy that we're moving along, and I urge everyone to get their shot when they can, to continue to wear their masks and to social distance where appropriate. And we hopefully will continue to move forward and be able to do more and more in our new facility. That's all I have to say. John?
Madam Chair, I make a motion that this meeting be adjourned.
Second.
Great motion. That motion made by Jariga and supported by Dawson. And I think, I don't know, we do this every week. We don't have to have a roll call vote, do we?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, we do.
Oh, well, go ahead, Al.
Just blame the governor.
Okay, Priest,
Yes.
Dawson,
Yes.
Jariga,
Yes.
Stoudemire,
Yes.
Jehevitz,
She's muted.
Muted all the time.
Sometimes you can't get me to stop talking. Yes.
okay, Peters,
Yes.
Hughes Grubbs, yes.
The meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you
Hi,
all.
everyone.
Good
night.
night.
Good night.
Have a good evening.
All right, stay safe.
Thank you.